Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, ciao, bonjour, namaste, jumbo. Bienvenidos, my friends. I'm Jed Lee, and you're listening to Reading with Your Kids, coming to you from the vibrant and book-loving neighborhood of Reedville in Boston, Massachusetts. This is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. Our mission is to help families grow closer, stronger, and kinder through the magic of reading together. And we're thrilled to have you with us on this journey. Help us spread the joy by sharing this podcast with people you love. Tell your kids' teachers, school librarians, and neighbors that they can find us on the WREB AM/FM 24/7 radio network and on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Good Pods, Podcast Addict. Wherever you find your favorite show, you can find Reading with Your Kids. Two wonderful guests today. First up, Mary Ellen Roberson. She is here to celebrate The Day Time Began. It's an absolutely beautiful picture book. And later in the show, Jonathan Marshall will be here to celebrate his beautiful picture book, Princess Tilu and the Queen. Before we invite our guests into the studio, I would love to invite you to visit a very special website. It's clownswithoutborders.org. Clownswithoutborders.org. This is a group that I absolutely adore. I am part of Clowns Without Borders, and I had the honor of being part of the 2023 tour of El Salvador. I had so much fun joining with artists from all over the world to bring a smile to people who really needed it and really appreciated it too. And we would love for you to join us as a monthly Joy Maker. The Joy Makers, they're a family of people just like you who love to laugh and make other people feel good. So please take a moment and visit clownswithoutborders.org and consider joining me as a Joy Maker.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
855-325-1823. 855-325-1823. That's 855-325-1823.
Are you looking for a creative way to bond with your kids? Let me tell you all about Drawing with Your Kids, the ultimate destination for artistic adventures. Join us as we dive into the wonderful world of children's books with renowned illustrators guiding you step by step. From beloved characters to whimsical scenes, unleash your imagination and create cherished memories together. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just picking up a pencil, there's something for everyone at Drawing with Your Kids. Please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com, and click on the Drawing with Your Kids link at the top of the page and let the creativity flow. Drawing with Your Kids, where every stroke brings stories to life. Join us right now from the great state of Maryland. Our guest is here today to celebrate her really inspiring and beautiful book. It's called The Day Time Began. You've been hearing us promote the book here on Reading with Your Kids for the past month or so. Please welcome to the show, Mary Ellen Roberson. Hey, Mary Ellen, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing very well and very happy to be here.
The Day Time Began, as I was mentioning, it's the words are great. The illustrations are fantastic, and your book was in our booth down at a children's literacy event in New Jersey, and the folks, everybody who came by the table, just had to pick up the book and check it out, and they all put the book down with a big smile on their face.
Well, I'm glad that it brought them delight. Delight is one of the things that I really wanted to have expressed in that book about God's amazing creation and the joy that he expressed in creating all the different creatures, and also that his greatest delight is in people, creating people.
That is such a powerful passage in the Bible. A friend of mine who's in another past guest, Phil Joel, formerly of big Christian band, the Newsboys, when he does his solo shows and talking about some of his music and inspiration, that is one of the passages that inspires him. The idea that God delights in us, that God created us and is looking at us, and even with all of our faults and mistakes and all the things that we get wrong, we still make him smile.
That is a very good way to put it. In my book, the words are, on day number 6, God made animals, but he also created a man, and not just a man, but a woman as well. These two were the best of God's plan. And everything else that's been created was to show us his glory, and beauty is from him, and the things that he's caused us to enjoy, he set those before us, but we are his favorite. And that's what I really hope that children especially will understand about God, that he delights in them.
I think that's an especially powerful thing to remind kids, because there's so many kids who are hearing, and especially nowadays with social media, and, kids and adults were hearing, you're not enough. If you had this or you had that, if you looked this way, if you looked that way, you'd be so much better and you'd be worth so much more. And so it's really wonderful to teach kids from the very beginning that you already made God happy. You already made God delighted. Nothing can top that.
Yeah, so we are his favorite, but then you look at each of the creatures, illustrated by my illustrator, Joanna Garcia. Each one that, as she's illustrated, it's so realistic and beautiful and precise. And you can see God's great care in making every different creature, like as if it's the only one he's making.
Yeah.
And each one is unique and perfect and runs differently and has different colors and shapes and lives in different environments. And yet with all of that, those amazing creatures, we're still his favorite.
Yeah. What inspired you to write the book? I know you were telling me that you teach religious ed, and the book kind of started there, but there must have been an inspiration for you before that got things going.
Well, I actually began this book 40 years ago, because I graduated with an English degree and a theology degree and wanted to write books for children. I started it 40 years ago because I wanted to express to children in our church, and then to my future children, the goodness of God. And starting at the very beginning, I hope to do many books after that. But then I had a child, and I got captivated in, rather than writing stories for children, in kind of living in the stories that were being made right before me in their lives. So I read a lot of books to my kids, learned from other authors what was a good book, and what held my child's attention, and which books they wanted to read again and again. And I guess I would say that I spent the next 40 years in class about how to write children's books, reading, like I said, thousands of books, repeating them to the 5 children that I had, homeschooling my children as well, teaching them to read, teaching them to write, learning myself how to write better. But then when I had my children were all grown, there was time and space in my mind. I went back to that original story and thought, I'll start now. And creation just seemed like a beautiful place to start. It's not my last book, it's my first, so I wanted to start at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that book number 2 doesn't take you another 40 years to bring to life.
No, it's already 3/4 done, and it is the story of Noah. I need to do that one next because my illustrator who did all the animals still has all those animals running in her head, and she's ready to put them on the ark.
That's really wonderful. Obviously, you have a passion for kids, for spreading the joy that we find in the Bible. But when did you know that that this is a ministry? When did you know that this was to be your ministry?
Teaching Sunday school, I always purposed to engage the children, so that they weren't just learning, hearing knowledge. We acted a lot of things out, and really all of us felt like we kind of were experiencing the Bible stories. And then I realized if I could get that captured in a book, it wouldn't be happening just in my classroom, and other teachers could do it. Parents could take their children away to the, the front row seat of God creating the world. And even the story of Noah, that God's great love and not wanting us to live being ugly to each other, but wanting to start afresh and have just the sin that we engage in, how it hurts us. And that's the heart of that story, is that, God doesn't want us to live lives that are constantly hurting each other, but start it over. And so the things that went on in my classroom, I just didn't want to. I realized other people could do that too themselves if it were in a book, and that's why I decided I really would pursue getting those stories captured in books.
Yeah. Now, you told me before we hit record that in your classroom, as the story was coming to become a book, that you would get the kids up and tell the story and get them to do all sorts of motions and whatnot. Can you I know this is an audio podcast, so we won't be able to see, but can you kind of describe the kind of motions and dance, if you would, that you get kids to do?
Well, the very first thing is that they learn the poem. They learn the rhyme and the rhythm, so they recite it with me. So they're saying it. And then, how do I do that without signs? Well, like the birds, when he created the birds, they put their thumbs together and their fingers are spread out and they make them fly. So all of the kids will be making the birds fly, and each one God's unique design. They would cup their hands on top of each other and pull it close, like it was precious to them. Like each one was his own unique design. On Let There Be Light, the light would, they'd open their hands and burst forth with the first light beams. Fish, you put your hands together and wiggle them away, and they wiggle them into each other, and they get all, excited. Creatures that creep, leap, and crawl. Well, you do that with your hands, but you creep, and then they actually leap, and they don't go all the way down to crawl, but they crawl like with their hands. So, and also they helped me figure out which ones were fun. Some of them didn't work that I had suggested, and they would say, "Oh, we could do this." So it's kind of kid made in that respect.
Yeah. I love that, the idea of having those co-authors with you.
Yes, and I do have a video on my website of those children, plus the Sunday school children and the neighborhood children acting out the motions.
Oh, neat.
So they're reciting it and acting out. It's not as precise as we might like it to be, but they pulled it together for me, and can get an idea there of what we did.
Well, I've performed for, decades, and I've never had a precise performance in my life. It's always been a little messy, and the audience and God still delight in it.
Yes, I agree. It's quite hilarious, some of the little pieces that got added in. A couple of my neighborhood boys just made some pretty funny additions.
Now, I'm imagining somebody listening to this might sit down and say, well, okay, obviously this is a Christian book and I'm not Christian. I'm Jewish or I'm Muslim. But the reality is these stories coming from the Old Testament are relevant to all three of the Abrahamic religions.
Yes, and that's an exciting reality. And I have had Jewish families, Jewish family, find it completely engaging and true to their faith.
Yeah.
So that is exciting.
Now, you mentioned the next book is going to retell the story of Noah. Will that also be in rhyme, and will you also be developing some choreography for the kids to go along with you?
Absolutely. I'm writing it with the choreography already in mind.
Oh, neat.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you, how much do you love teaching and going into like a new group of kids and teaching them the movements and sharing the poem and the book with them?
I would say that I forget time when I'm in that situation. Yeah. I just get lost in it with them, especially as they interact and I see that they are actually kind of transported into an awareness of God that they hadn't had before, in finding God to be so fun, so exciting, and wanting to be close to Him.
Yeah, I love that. Learning how much how much fun you can have with God.
Well, He created fun, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree, absolutely. What other stories are you hoping to tell through your ministry here?
I do have the text of another book already ready to go, but I don't have the illustrator, and that is it's a Navy story, a Navy family story. It's called I Love You Little Tugboat, and it's about the father who goes out to sea on a submarine, and the little boy and his mom go down to the dock regularly. And the little boy's favorite boat that he sees at the docks is the tugboat. And so each page is something the tugboat does that he loves. Uh-huh. But in the very end, what he loves most of all is when the tugboat brings his daddy home.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's obvious that this story is touching you in a very powerful way. Are you able to tell us why that it's causing so much?
Oh, well, we were in the Navy, and my husband was on a submarine, and he went away. And when he came back, for 6 months we would wait for him, and we would go down to the docks, and that was how we stayed attached. That was we'd go down and we'd just be in the world where he had left and be ready for him to return. And so I would have liked to have had a book like this.
Yeah.
I would have, this book is written for the children, but also for the mother or father, in the case of a submarine, to be a mother, because there's no ladies yet on submarines. But it would just be a way to focus on the good things that you can do and enjoy going down to the dock and thinking about daddy and seeing all the boats. And I plan to have other things that we did in the illustrations that would help parents also to cope with those days of separation. But also being separated does make you bonded in a very strong way. And so that emotion is just about how valuable it was to hold together during that separation. And the tugboat does a lot of things that for other boats that you need done for you. When they get in a situation, another boat gets in a situation, they rescue them. They celebrate with their hoses, and they put out fires and all the things that your husband wouldn't be there to do for you. The tugboat just reminds you that those are needs, and the tugboat kind of becomes your friend, I guess. And so then when the tugboat goes out and lashes its lines to the sub and brings it in. It's just like in reading the story, you know, it's going to end okay. It's going to all be good. It's going to be hard. And because it's hard, it's going to be better than good.
Right.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I certainly want to acknowledge your service and your family's service, and of course your husband's active duty service. I think we forget sometimes of how much sacrifice the families of our service men and women make to our country, and I think it's important for us to acknowledge that.
Well, thank you. I agree with you.
Yeah. Have you taken the time to sit back and to realize that with the daytime began, there are going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of families all around the country, all over the world, who are going to be snuggled up on a couch, reading your books together, seeing the illustrations, and becoming closer to each other and closer to God through your words?
That is my greatest joy. And when people send me pictures of their children, that is the most wonderful feedback I could get. The very first child who read my book, my daughter handed it to her after church. The little girl had been pretty depressed for about 6 months due to issues that had occurred in her life. And she opened the book with no expression on her face. But she kept turning, she could read it herself. Mm-hmm. So she read it, she turned the pages, no expression until she turned the page to when God created the flowers and plants and grasses and trees and bushes. And suddenly the barren land opened up to this beautiful meadow of and at that point she spread the book open and she sucked in her breath. She went, and then she leaned all the way into the book and kind of closed it around her a little bit. And she stayed in there touching everything. She turned the page and she found the fish and she started petting the dolphin and petting the sea turtle. And her mother came in to point out something. She pushed her mother's hand away and brought herself closer into the book. She went through every page, touching the animals. Her face brightened. She was engaged. At the end, she closed the book, brought it to her chest, stood up, went into the aisle, and danced.
Wow.
And
wow.
I stood there crying. I had no idea. I knew it was a beautiful book, but I was just so blessed to see what happened to her. And even adults have started to cry in the middle. And I'm like, what's happening? Why are you crying? This is a children's book. It's beautiful. But they said there's order. I feel chaotic, but there's order in here. Things seem so ugly, but this is so beautiful. And I have hope. I have hope that things will be good.
Yeah. Wow. I bet you had no idea when you set out to publish this book that you'd be getting that kind of response.
I had no idea. I knew that children would like doing the motions and that they would be drawn to God, but I had no idea the adults would cry because of this book.
Yeah.
And one person also said, if this book had been in the doctor's office where I sat for 2 years waiting for my daughter's diagnosis, I would not have despaired. And I thought, really? And she also said, it's because it presents hope that God is good and God has this.
Really powerful message that we need to remember for ourselves, but also a very powerful message to share with our kids. Yeah. Mary Ellen, we should tell everybody where they can go to find out more about The Daytime Began, get a sense of how beautiful the illustrations are, and also find out more about you.
I have a website that's maryellenroberson.com. And on that website is also a link to purchase the book, currently via Amazon. I will very likely shortly be selling them myself from my website. But at this time, I'm not. Although if anyone wanted a signed copy, they could contact me at my email that's listed on my website, and I could arrange to send that to them. Both myself and the illustrator, we sign all the copies that come here to my house.
Wonderful. We've had a really powerful time speaking to the author of The Daytime Began. It's a beautiful picture book from our guest, Mary Ellen Roberson. Mary Ellen, thanks so much for being on Reading with Your Kids.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Jelly.
In the dawn of the world, when colors were born, a gentle voice whispered, let there be morn. From mountains to rivers and skies up so blue, the daytime began. Oh, what a beautiful view. With every beat of the heart, in the breeze of the land, nature was singing as life took a stand. Oh, the wonders, the colors, the creatures so bright, in the pages of a story that brings pure delight. With every turn of the leaves, can you feel the cheer? The daytime began, let's celebrate here. Look at the animals, each one unique. From roaring lions to the playful cheek to cheek. With when 60 friends, there's so much to see. In this lively adventure, come and explore with me. God's marvelous canvas, each stroke full of grace. Every little detail in this incredible space. Oh, the wonders, the colors, the creatures so bright, in the pages of a story that brings pure delight. With every turn of the leaves, can you feel the cheer? The daytime began, let's celebrate here. With the flick of the brush and a sprinkle of dream, a world of creation bursting at the seam. Come gather round, kids, with smiles all around. In this magical journey, so many treasures abound. The stars started twinkling, the moon took its flight, brightening the darkness, painting the night. From tiniest critters to the giants that roam, in the daytime began, we all find a home. Adventure awaits, in this tale we can share. Let your imagination soar, let your dreams take care. Oh, the wonders, the colors, the creatures so bright, in the pages of a story that brings pure delight. With every turn of the leaves, can you feel the cheer? The daytime began, let's celebrate here. So open up the book, let the magic unfold. With laughter and joy in this story we hold. The daytime began, come dance in the light. With God's creation around us, everything feels right. Together we'll cherish this gift from above. In the story of life, there's so much to love.
Hey, my friends, would you like to bring a little warmth and magic into your home? Let me introduce you to Welsh Mountain Candles, hand-poured on a working Amish farm in Lancaster County. These all-natural, toxin-free candles are made from palm wax with a stunning crystallized glow, rich coconut apricot wax for a creamy finish, and essential oils for a pure, refreshing scent. Whether you're winding down, setting the mood, or just love a great candle, Welsh Mountain Candles are crafted with care and made to be shared. Visit WelshMountainCandles.com. Use the promo code JED10 for 10% off your order today. Light up your home with Welsh Mountain Candles, where every candle tells a story.
Have you outgrown your health insurance plan or just not happy with what you're paying for? The number one reason we all change our health insurance is price. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Would you like to have better coverage at a better rate or at little or no cost to you? Your life needs are always changing, but have you done anything to improve your health insurance for you and your family? Health insurance laws and coverage are always changing and getting better. It's impossible to do all the research yourself, but now it's all done for you for free. So regardless of your age or medical condition, take a few minutes right now and find out if you can save money or even qualify for zero-cost health insurance in your state. Call now.
Paid for by cheaper health insurance. 800-932-1656. 800-932-1656. 800-932-1656. That's 800-932-1656.
My friends, if you have ever thought about owning a business that's fun, rewarding, and makes a valuable contribution to kids' education, well, Brooklyn Robot Foundry is calling your name. I recently met Jenny Young. She's the founder of Brooklyn Robot Foundry. And let me tell you, she is incredible. Her passion for getting kids excited about STEAM, that's STEM plus art, it's contagious. I'm telling you. This isn't your average kids program. Brooklyn Robot Foundry is all about hands-on, screen-free STEAM fun. These kids get to build a different robot each class and take it home with them afterwards. Kids love it. Parents are raving about it. And now you can own a franchise and bring this incredible experience to families in your community. Now, this isn't your typical franchise. Brooklyn Robot Foundry is a mobile, flexible business with a deep curriculum that's making a real impact in schools and communities around the country. Franchise owners get a proven curriculum, full training, and support from a passionate team. So what are you waiting for? Please visit bit.ly/RobotJed. That's bit.ly/RobotJed. And let them know you heard about it on Reading with Your Kids. Join us right now from right outside the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Our guest is here today to celebrate. His picture book is called Princess Tilu and the Queen. Please welcome to the show, Jonathan Marshall. Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
I am good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Jed. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Definitely excited to be here.
Jonathan and I met each other at the IABX Book Festival in South Jersey. That was a fun event.
It was really nice. It was my fun. It was funny because it was my first time doing the IABX event. And I was kind of nervous. I won't lie. I was kind of nervous. Yeah. But it was good to see a couple of faces there that I actually knew from before. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So, but it was a really nice event. Really nice. Really well put together. A lot of great authors there too. So.
Yeah. And, the thing I really liked about it is there was a lot of community support. They had, a bunch of the public servants were there. I think the mayor or the council members showed up, and there was food for folks and information on how to get services if they were needed. So it was just a really a wonderful event. And I mention that because I want to encourage families, if there's a book event coming to your area, try to get to it. It's a lot of fun for kids. Kids get to meet authors. And it's not just about selling books. It's about coming together, connecting, and really showing your kids that you support literacy and reading.
Yeah. And then also, too, like you just mentioned, too, the cool thing about it, and I've noticed this at a lot of book fairs and the book events that I've been to, the access to community resources. A lot of times, we live in communities and don't even know the things that we have available to us. So it's just awesome to see those community resources there that people can get plugged into while they're there, right?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's funny. A couple of years ago, I had a little mishap on a set of stairs here, and it ended up in a hospital for months in wheelchairs and whatnot. And I tell you, if I had to have navigated that experience by myself, it would have been a nightmare. But because I was in a hospital where there were social workers and I got hooked up with everything because I was with people who knew where to turn. And that's one of the things I loved about the IABX is that there were people there who could help families get the services that they probably didn't even know were available.
Yep. That's it's funny. So one of my friends, he's actually he lives in Vegas. His name's Billy. He's a librarian, and one of the cool things that we talk about, and I actually got a chance to see it, full fledged at his library. Is even at a library, like librarians have access to resources and community, things. So it was cool to see like the simple fact that people within the community who may not even think that a library would have these resources, had those things. So a lot of times, like I said, people are just moving. They're so busy with life. So to have a place where it actually slows you down for a moment, you're with your family, with your children, but you can actually see the access to these resources that can be beneficial to them that they, you could be going through, a family could be going through. Like one of the cool things they had that day, they were giving out oranges, right?
Yeah.
So, simple fact that the family may come to a book event and may surprisingly may not even, may not come there for books and may just be coming there to socialize or just have the kids out for the day and walk away with oranges, so it may seem small to us, but it's still something big. It could be something big for another family. So.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that's pretty big in a kid's life is a great picture book like Princess Tilu and the Queen. Who's Princess Tilu?
So my daughter is Princess Tilu. So this book, it's funny how this book came to be. So I have a book called If Dad Can Do It, So Can I. It's one of my favorite books. And in the midst of doing that book, my wife was joking with me. She was like, I want my own book. I want a book. So I was like, okay, I got you. I'll make you one. And the cool thing about this story is really a mother and daughter story, right? So one thing I appreciate is the relationship, that my daughter has with her mother. And in the story, what it is really just that kind of appreciation. It's the daughter talking about this queen that she looks up to, who she thinks is beautiful. She thinks is stunning. She's smart, but she's kind, and she's, but the thing about it is as she's telling her mom the story, in the end of the story, it pretty much comes out that, the queen is her mother, right? Mm-hmm. And that she made the story up, and the story that it's her favorite story is really about how much she looks up to her mother. So the story is pretty much about my daughter and my wife, and their relationship.
So if your daughter is the princess and your wife is the queen, does that make you the king, or are you like Queen Elizabeth's husband who was?
I'm like in the background. I'm hiding in the background. I'm Queen Elizabeth's husband. Like, is she married? Yeah, she has a husband. Oh, I didn't even know. I'm that guy in the story for this one. So yeah, I really wanted to focus on them and their relationship. And I wanted, mothers and daughters to have that moment where they can have stories together. Like I started this journey as a dad, wanting to create stories for, dads and children, mm-hmm. And then families and children. So, but I wanted a mother-daughter story that, that they can enjoy together. So,
yeah, I think it's so very important that, especially nowadays, you look at statistics and you see how many kids are living in homes where they don't have a father, they don't have a mom, or, the kids, the 400,000 kids in foster care daily. Family is such a wonderful, important thing. I look at my kids now who are 29, 32, and I'm so happy that my beautiful wife and I were able to provide for them a stable family where they felt loved.
Yeah. And that's important. So the cool thing about it all, so prior to what I'm doing now career-wise, I was a social worker. And prior to that, I was a teacher. So those two worlds are important to me. One, family dynamics, and then two, literacy, right? So combining those two worlds was important to me. And it still is important to me as I create these stories. I think about the aspect of, how important it is, and it was for me when my children were little. My boys are 14 and 12 now. But when they were little, reading to them every night was important, not just so they could learn, but just enjoying time together with them, right? Like I'm busy, we're all busy, right? During school, they're in school all day, right? When we get home, we're preparing, we're doing homework, we're doing dinner and all those things. So just to take a snippet of time and actually just enjoy those moments with my children was important to me. And the reason why I created this story is, not just this story, but all the stories that I've created. And the way that I do, I keep them short, keep them rhyming, to help try to foster those small moments where families can engage with each other. And then, just enjoy the stories. So that was the goal. Like, even with Princess Tilu and the Queen, it was like, take 5 minutes to read this story and just enjoy it with, your family. So, yeah.
It's incredible that little bit of investment and time means so much to kids. One of the things that it just blew my mind out that, when I learned that spending 15, 20 minutes a day reading with your kids, talking with your kids, by the time that kid gets to kindergarten, they will have heard between 800,000 and 1 million more words than their peers who were not. And that's a gap. You can't close that gap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, you even look at siblings, right? Where, the first sibling, the older sibling, usually tends to, help the younger siblings learn faster as far as speech, right? So just in the sense of, you have your younger children, like, oh, he started talking a lot earlier than, the older ones did. And that's the reality, is because the siblings are talking to their younger siblings, or the parents are talking to their children, more. They're around conversations more. So it's easier for them to learn, that aspect. But one thing I've also learned with that aspect too is it's easier for them to learn by hearing, but it challenges them more to learn by reading. So that's why it's intentional to actually sit down with little ones, siblings who are younger, to sit and read with them, because what happens is they learn a lot from conversation, as far as learning words those ways, but how do you actually visually see these words as you were learning them, and how they go together is important too. So, but yeah.
When you decided to become a children's author, was it just, I want to create some stories for my kids, or was the intention to go out and become a published children's author?
It literally was, I want to create stories for my kids. So it was creating stories for my kids, but I wanted to create stories for dads, right? Like, when I was reading stories, I didn't see dads in stories. All the dads that I saw in stories were like animals, or inanimate objects, right? And then to be honest, I didn't see any black dads, right? And my boys didn't see themselves in stories. So the goal was to create something for us just to start with, for me and my boys. And then it kind of just snowballed into, creating more. As I realized, there's stories that I have in me that, that I love to share. And, I'm a creative, right? So the thing about when you're creative, you like to get your creativity out. So just having that desire of still being a creative, and also, knowing the importance of what family was for me, and what not just family was, but one of the things me and my boys did with my wife is, we would not only read stories, but we started creating stories. We would make up stories. So we would start with a topic like, we're going on a roller coaster. And then this roller coaster would, and next thing you know, we would finish each other's sentences and add on to this story. And it would get crazy. The roller coaster would go off the side, and it would fall down in a puddle of goop, and the goop would spit us back. And it would just expand on this story that just started at a roller coaster. And we had so much fun just having those moments, just joking and laughing together. And I was like, you know what? I want people to experience those moments, to just have stories that are fun, that are heartfelt, that it can actually challenge families together to either laugh together, to cry together, whatever the case may be. So,
yeah. You mentioned that you weren't seeing dads in the books that you were reading or finding. And one of the things that I noticed, my kids, again, they're a lot older than yours, but I started noticing in the media that they were watching, the cartoons that they were watching, if there was a dad, he was a dope.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, yeah, let's laugh. That's fun. But, you got to let the dad get a win so the kids can count on the dad.
Yeah. And that's usually what happens. Like, most of the dads in stories, there are a few shows that I saw, like, the dads were actually like, oh man, this is a good example of what a dad could be. But most of the time, dads were like, either they were relegated to the background, or they're like comedy relief, which is not bad to have a comedy relief dad. But like at the same time, like there's usually like this fumbling dad who like, oh, I just fell into this situation, you know. So
Yeah.
there was never this dad who would be empathetic, or this dad who would be patient, or this dad who would be understanding, or this dad who would be, even just a strong dad who would knew how to change a tire. Like those dads weren't even showed and shows.
Exactly.
So those kind of things that, I wish that, I even had, and those things. I wanted to kind of create those moments for the stories. So.
Jonathan, we've hosted international kids here on our home, and it was wonderful because we got to welcome some great kids into our families. They're still part of our family. We got to know their culture, and we had a number of young women live with us from China. And in China, I don't know what it's like in your house, but when we're sitting down having dinner, we're joking about each other, and very oftentimes I can be the focus of the jokes, and I love that. But that doesn't happen in China. You don't talk back to your parents in China.
No.
This one girl, she was there and she was with us probably for about 6 months. And one night, she just came up with the best joke that was at my expense, and we all exploded in laughter. It was great. But she thought I was going to be mad. She jumped up from the table and she ran down to her room. And no one can remember the joke because we were all wanting to make sure that she didn't feel bad. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's different culture there. I know. So my wife is from Malawi, Africa. And same thing, it's kind of like a patrilineal society where, men are like the same thing, you don't joke with, a lot of times. One of the cool things is, her father and I often joke. And, to be honest, I didn't grow up with my dad wasn't around, right? So I didn't grow up with my father around. So I was always often worried about how to navigate those things, right? Like how to navigate joking with, I'm a jokester in general. And then, joking with her dad, he was always kind of worried, like, if you're going to take this too serious, is this okay? Am I habitually line stepping right here? Is this okay? And he's been, I've been married for 18 years. He's been patient and kind with me. So, and he still loves me. So I guess it's okay. I guess it works out. But yeah, it's kind of weird to like gauge like, the dynamics of, father figures, across the world too. So, yeah.
Yeah. So important. I really hope that we can see a resurgence of dads, not so much to be the patriarch and the guy in charge or whatnot, but just valued and, and the guy, I don't know your dad's circumstances, but to me, I couldn't imagine not being there for my kids.
Yeah. Same. It's a different dynamic. And I know it's tough for, even my own daddy, it was tough for him with the family dynamic of, why now he couldn't really be around for me. But like, as a dad now, I can't imagine not being around my children and not having a relationship with them. It's funny, like, a lot of times you hear like, I can't imagine life before you. And I honestly can't remember really much of my life before my children came. I remember I was busy, but I don't remember, but it's funny, I'm on a different level of busy now, but I don't feel that I'm busier now than I was, even though I probably am.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. I think just being content in parenthood, has been a big thing too, is like, just the aspect of like, I chose to have these children. These are my investment. These are my children. I'm going to dive into their lives and they're going to be part of mine. So I'm going to invest in both. So.
Yeah. It's the best thing that I ever did was to become a dad and become an involved dad.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I was on your website. You have, 12 books out now?
Yeah. No, it's 11. It's 11. I have 12 on the way. This year has been, so I already had 2 released this year, and then I have 2 more coming this year.
Yeah.
So it's funny, this past Monday actually is when Princess Tilu and the Queen. So when that released, how I have my books come out is I have them come out on birthdays of my family members. So my wife's birthday was Sunday. So the book came out on Monday because, Sunday, it's kind of a weird time to have a book release. But yeah, so all of my, all the other books come out on my children's birthdays. This one specifically for what's for my wife. So it came out on her birthday. Yep.
So what does your daughter think about becoming Princess Tilu?
She loves it. So I would say so the book has been done for about like a year and some change. I was just strategic about having it come out when it came out. One of the coolest things is her knowing, that it's her story. So she's 3 and she'll come to me and she'll say, Daddy, here's a story that we wrote together. There's a story about me and it's about Mommy and you and I wrote it. I'm like, yes, we did. We did. We wrote it together. Of course we did. So she really loves the story. Like every night she has this book and she has another book. It's called Move With Me. So those are her 2 favorite books. She has another one called Reread Me, but Move With Me and Princess Tilu and the Queen are 2 of her favorites. So
that's fantastic. Have you taken the time to sit down and imagine the fact that there are hundreds of little girls and little boys who are curling up on the couch with their dads, with their moms, reading your book together and, really having their hearts filled with joy from your words?
So it was a funny thing. Literally today, I was in a meeting for work, and one of my coworkers, I hadn't seen her in a while. We actually went to school together. So in the middle of the Zoom meeting, she chats me on the side. Hey, John, how good to see you. It's good to see you too. She said, guess what? I was like, what? What's going on? She said, my kids reread your stories every night. And I was like, I didn't even know. So the coolest thing about it was, that a friend of mine is actually reading my stories. And a lot of things, the tough thing about sometimes selling online, is that you don't know who buys your stories. So, you put them out there and then you see them sell, but sometimes people don't come back and say, hey, John, I got this book. Mm-hmm. So within the last, maybe a month or so, a lot of my friends have been saying, hey, I got this book. And I'm like, I didn't even know you got it. That's cool. Like, send me pictures. So it's been really cool. Just the simple fact of a lot of times I hear more from people that I don't know about the simple fact that they're reading stories or they're sharing them or they're enjoying them together. But it's been cool to hear my friends have been saying like, hey, John, I read your stories every night to my daughter or my son, or we read them together. We laugh out loud, so that's been one of the coolest things is like, watching my friends actually having their own children. And one really quick, that's one of my friends named Todd, and his daughter, she loves the stories, like all the stories that I write. So it's been cool. Every time I see her, she's like, Mr. John, do you have a new story? And I'm like, I got you. July 7th, I got you. I promise. So that's like a running thing we have is every time I see her, I'm like, let her know, like, hey, I'm working on this new story. And I'll show her behind the scenes. I'll show her the pictures that we've been working on or the sketches. So that's pretty cool. Like, just small moments of being able to enjoy it with somebody who's not my own child or not in my family. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, we should tell everybody where they can go to find out more about Princess Tilu and the Queen and all the books that are coming from your imagination.
Yeah, sure. So you can find them at www.wrotebyjon.com, or you can find them on Amazon, but Wrote by John is where you can find me. Yep.
Excellent. We've had a great time speaking to the author, Princess Tilu and the Queen. Brand new picture book from our guest, Jonathan Marshall. Hey, Jonathan, thanks so much for being on Reading with Your Kids.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Reading with Your Kids, where the real magic happens every time a child opens a book with somebody they love. If you had a good time with us today, please share this episode with your friends. Leave a 5-star review. It really helps us reach more magical family like yours. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to the show so you never miss a story. Want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful, starting with our guest. Want to thank Jonathan Marshall. Please be sure to check out Princess Tilu and the Queen. Also want to thank Mary Ellen Roberson. Please be sure to check out The Day Time Began. I want to thank my team, Fatima Khan, Chris Doherty, Elle Glassman, Dante Greco. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we want to thank you. Keep reading, keep dreaming, and keep making the world a better place, one page and one story at a time. Until next time, this has been Reading with Your Kids.